spoilers, oh spoilers, oh spoilers. What's up guys, I'm Pencil here, and here we are to do a nice little spoiler discussion on chapter 411 of My Hero Academia, which is known as, I don't know. I have no answer. I have not a clue. But this chapter is looking like a little bit of gas, though I do grow more and more concerned every day. But of course, let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Adding me, ready, 3, 2, 1, go. What's up guys, that guy with a, what is this? A pencil here, and fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, man, dog, I mean, I do genuinely I wish we had more real interactions with these characters so I would actually care when they got taken. I will admit, there's one thing I will admit. I wish these guys were fleshed out a little bit more, because we open up with the flashback to the fate of Shinomori, I think his name is Shinomori? I'm not 100% sure, but the Danger Sense guy. Like, no, I only know these guys for their powers and like a loose aspect of their personality, which are based on their powers, meaning they are literally just their powers, except for Nana, and obviously, and even a little bit of Yoichi here. But with that being the case, we see that they're currently discussing the entire scenario going on with, Big Rocky, and how Big Rocky is going to be a big threat if they don't take care of this properly. And we see, it's interesting, even when we know that in the Vestige world, their quirks are still active, considering these are literally their quirk factors. And we see Shinomori realize, wait a minute, something's coming. And ooh, does something come indeed? Because, wait, I'm calcing something. The calc is complete. That man, Shigaraki, appeared and realized he appeared and grabbed one of them in like a fraction of a second. All for one, you suck, man. How come you never did that? Like, this is crazy. All it took, remember, Shigaraki had his hand on Midoriya's face for like 5 seconds. And boom, Shinomori just got. And the thing is, like, Shinomori, I get why you tackled them, but why couldn't you dodge out the way too, broski? And like, you're one of the most dangerous ones to give. Like, I hate to say it, but like, if you're gonna sack somebody, sack like, actually everyone else is pretty important too, because Black Whip, Fashion, Danger Sense, well, you are Danger Sense. Who smoke? You couldn't, honestly, I hate to say this, you should have sacked Smokescreen over here. This fella, this little coward right here, you should have sacked him. Because Shinomori, man, you giving yourself up is way, way, way too big an amp for Shigaraki. And way too big a debuff for Midoriya, right? And we'll see that. Once again, I don't actually have any translations for this chapter. The Raws are looking very, very clean this week, though, which is, I mean, I'm not complaining. I love me some clean Raws, but, like, caught me off guard, I'm not going to lie to you. It did bamboozle me a little bit. The one detail I do like, though, out of the very limited character stuff we do have for these all-for-one vestiges, I do like how it's done. I don't remember. Black Whip guy. I like how he, the person who had a more like chaotic and more like kind of animosity fueled, not rivalry, but like relationship with Shinomori. I like that he's the one who's all concerned. It's like, yo, kid, they got Shinomori. They got like he's fully genuinely worried that one of his boys got just like that. And I do like that. There's a nice little detail based on what little I know of these characters and how they interact with each other. I very specifically remember Danger Sense being displayed with Danjaburo using Black Whip to try and hit him, but he just kept dodging because, Danger Sense. But yeah, I don't know. Danger Sense is such a massive buff for Shigaraki and such a massive debuff for Midoriya that I'm quite concerned for my son. And of course, we see my son realize, oh no, I've been quirk-jacked by this bad man. No, how could I be quirk-jacked? And we see that Shigaraki's like, is that how you use it? It was that easy? Really? Like, I do get it. I get why he gets all mocking here, because realize, in like a fraction of a second, after getting just pummeled on in the air for like 30 minutes straight, he just and got a piece of One for All. Sure, he didn't get the whole thing, and that was All for One's main goal, right? But like, considering it was so easy for him, I'm not shocked that he's like, why? Why is it so? Like, it goes to show Shiggy's personality, where he's like, it was that easy? You were struggling for decades to do this? For this? Bro, I got like 15 different quirks that already kind of do this. What's the point? Though, he does smile. He's like, oh, well, shoot, 1 for 1. One thing I do find a little bit strange, though, well, I kind of mentioned this at the end of the last chapter review. I do find it kind of weird that he stays and engages with Midoriya at all. Midoriya essentially has to follow his terms. Especially considering Midoriya isn't holding him anymore. Like, the one thing I'll give Shigaraki before this is that Midoriya kind of had him on lock, quite literally. Like, he had Black Whip wrapped around Shigaraki. They were essentially tied in a soul chain deathmatch, if you will. And thusly, there was no way for Shigaraki to easily just wiggle free and scurry away. But, like, I don't know, Shigaraki. At this point, you're free. Might as well scurry away. But we see he does kind of scurry, as we see that the people inside One for All are like, no, we're cooked. He got such a fat, juicy amp. And we see that Midoriya's like, I don't care how juicy his amp is. Watch this. And he goes for Black Whip, plus Fajin, plus Gear Shift. I know. I know y'all are going to get mad at me. I know. But man, isn't Gear Shift supposed to have blowback? Wasn't it supposed to have blowback like 3 times ago? But now he's just, I don't know, he's just spamming it. And like, it's the same issue I have with the whole breaking bones thing, man. And I think we're going back. Ooh, see, I know editing me is going to slaughter current me, but it'd be like that when it'd be like that editing me. I'm sorry. But with it being the case, come on now, dog. Like, what's the point of introducing the mechanic to have some sort of blowback if it's not going to have any sort of blowback? Maybe this is supposed to be blowback. I'll see if like, it's a thing in the official translations or the translations at all, but like, I don't know. I could have sworn he was supposed to have blowback. Like, it wasn't when he used Bakugo. That was like his quirk was warning him. Whatever the Bakugo's guy's name is. I always forget his name. But something Kun. I think it's with a K. But essentially, I think he was warning him about using it on Bakugo, but then Midoriya used it anyway, because, you know, he was going to do it anyway. Then it didn't happen then. Then he uses Gear Shift again in that iconic 4-way panel between Bakugo, All for One, Shigaraki, and himself. But now he's using it again. Like, I don't know. I get it's like, you gotta use it. But, like, at least a little bit of mechanical blowback. Especially considering, like, he lost one of the people who was fundamentally sustaining the power within him. But let's say Shigaraki, he is simply not amused. Even with the Black Whip Omega combo, he's like, Browski, I'm gonna be real with you, dog. I'm gonna just keep copping that. One by one. Everything you got is gonna be mine, Browski. Now come here. Let me get you something. He's gonna go steal another one. And we see that ultimately Shigaraki reveals, like, Browski, I can still tell. So, like, I'm going off the loose translations I got, but I believe Shigaraki's talking like, Broski, I can still tell. You hold it back. You still think I'm somebody who's worth saving. Dog, I will literally level this entire world with my bare hands. I want you to know that. There's not a single thing you can do to stop me. If you don't try to stop me like a true hero would. So go ahead. Keep playing with your foolish little childish ideals. And as you try to save me, watch as I rend this world to the dust. And we see him release these shockwaves from his palms, which I'm not sure if they like devastate his arm or anything, but they force Midoriya to go flying. That boy goes places in a Black Whip Curdle. I was about to call it a Black Whip Curdle combo, but nah, he literally just gets Black Whip sent flying. And we see that ultimately he kind of has no choice but to lock in, as he's like, oh shoot, okay. I think he starts to feel the blowback here. I think the only thing is though, it's not this is the Fajin user. This isn't the Bakugo who transcends time. So I'm not sure what this means. Once again, I'll get that by translations. But we see he not only may be feeling blowback from One for All, but he's also lost the mask that he was wearing during the Vigilante arc, and he just flat out took damage from Shigaraki's attack. So Shigaraki, he's at an insult to injury here. He's just keep laying on the piling, and I do like that, right? Because as great and as powerful as One for All is, Shigaraki should be unstoppable. That like genuinely word for word, bar for bar, unstoppable. So him being so unbelievably powerful that even Midoriya, after all this time, is struggling with him, makes sense. Especially considering Midoriya isn't actually using 100% of One for All. He's using a faux 100%. We know Shigaraki, in base, no quirks or nothing, is already as strong as Prime All Might. So I can understand why Shigaraki is actually starting to ragdoll, which is why it was kind of funny just to see Shigaraki kind of just float there in midair, unperturbed, unbothered for a majority of their encounter up to this point, only to now finally turn on the gas because Hori's letting him. Though still, I'm not sure. Call me a Coper. Maybe we're gonna figure this out later, or it's gonna be like an epilogue thing. We didn't wrap up Aizawa yet. We didn't. That whole plotline, Aizawa, Kurogiri, Present Mike, we didn't wrap up that plotline. I don't know. Call me a fiend or something, but I feel like we can't do that. Hori, we're going out of order. We can't do this. We can't finish this up before we get into that. I feel like this may be the perfect point to cut away, though. Because we see that they actually got knocked all the way to Mount Fuji. You know what that means. Essentially, if Shigaraki were to start decaying this, he would most likely cause an eruption. And sure, Midoriya can deal with some of the damage, but not all of it. And with that being the case, he'd have to fight Shigaraki and a whole torrent of lava and hope that the decay doesn't spread too far from there. That's if Shigaraki doesn't just slam through it and cause it to erupt, rather than just decaying it. But of course, Hori couldn't waste an opportunity like that. But I think it's revealed here that a question I had at the end of last review, I was looking at the loose translation for this. A question I had at the end of last review is Midoriya weaker now? Because, like, he lost the quirk, and the quirks are what fuel One for All and make the power stacking valuable in the first place. But apparently I think this is confirming that, no, it doesn't actually make the quirk weaker. It's something, like, in the loose translation I read, it's something like, it's not the quirk that makes One for All stronger, like the quirk itself. It's just the fact that the quirk was there. So, like, the quirk energy is still present, meaning the cup is no less empty, even though it's literally less empty. Honestly, I kind of would have preferred if you just nerfed Midoriya a little bit to allow him to delve further in the percentages without hurting himself. I would have been fine with that, but I get why you don't want to weaken Midoriya even more, considering you already took away, like, his top, like, what I'd say his top 3 quirks are, like, Fajin, Float, and... Because I'd throw Gear Shift in there, but Gear Shift, if we're assuming that it does have a blowback, however late that may be, Gear Shift kind of is a little bit too much. So I'd say Float, Fajin, and Danger Sense were kind of his top 3. And I guess Black Whip. Black Whip is actually probably top 3, because he uses it so much. But, like, in terms of just great utility, so for him to lose that is kind of rough. And we see the smokescreen user being like, guys, you know, it may actually not be too bad an idea to run and abandon this entire thing, because if he gets us, we're cooked. But we see that Yoichi's like, hey, we ain't doing all that. But Shigaraki's like, y'all may want to be doing all that, as he simply walks forward to Midoriya. He's like, hey, Bucko, you looking a little bit eepy, a little bit scared. What's up with y'all? For some reason, I can see y'all now. So, you know, we freaking and geeking. And considering we freaking and geeking, I got a little present for you, broski. Guess what I can do? I can tap the ground with my big toes now. And I can start disintegrating all of creation. At least that's what I assume happens here. Like, I think he touched the ground earlier, and now the destruction's kind of just chasing him. Which is very, very cool. Though, admittedly, Midoriya, you should have stopped that, man. Like, now you're going to have to fight on a cool, epic, erupting background. Oh no, Midoriya, the swagger of the exaggerated swagger of your battle will be insane. But, of course, we see Midoriya. Watch on as Shigaraki starts to boogie and break it down and begin his destruction of Japan. And while I think his name is N, the smokescreen user, still is like, dude, we gotta run. We gotta run from All for One. It's okay. We can run. We can prepare another day for this. He can take Japan. We just can't lose here. Midoriya's like, nah, bro. I gotta lock in. And he proceeds to lock in. And he thinks back to a very specific conversation as he begins to go what should be real 100%. And he even activates Shiggy's danger sense, showing that it's getting real. He thinks back to the conversation he had with Uraraka, very specifically the conversation he had about saving villains. And ultimately, he decides that no, he's not going to run, but he's also not going to abandon Shigaraki. Or really, he's not going to abandon Tenko. He's going to save that crying child, because that's what heroes do. I have already talked at length on how stupid I think that is. So I'm not going to repeat myself here. But considering how gorgeous this chapter is, and considering how much I love Shigaraki being Shigaraki again, and like actually being allowed to be the main villain again, because, you know, reintroducing All for One is still an overall net waste of the narrative. Yes, I've thought about it. No, I haven't prepared the video yet. Yes, I am working on the video. The chapter is in fact worthy. At least based on this loose spoilers where I have very little to no translations. But that is what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave. I was about to say one for all. And that's like, no, that's too simple. Leave one all for none. I know that sounds so stupid and confusing, but that's the point. One all for none in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the live reaction to this very chapter. Now, I want to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Akid's Void. And I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, Midnight Gemlord, Kevin, Demix LND, and Igneal. And I'd like to give a chunky old thank you to our $7 member, Autumn's Morning Lazo. And I'd like to give another chunka thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, Idemokai, and China Doll 09. I'd like to give a hefty thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give another giga gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.